Welcome everyone. We're glad you could make it today. My name is Kent Bishop. I cover marketing here at Diem Technologies. Today's webinar focuses on a brand new hybrid fax solution from OpenText called RightFax Connect. Here at Diem, we've received more feedback and interest from this particular topic than probably any other webinar we've hosted this year, and I think you'll see why during the presentation. Greg Horton, who's a Senior Product Marketing Manager at OpenText, will present RightFax Connect today. After his presentation, we'll have a Q&A portion to answer any questions you have during the presentation. To submit a question, you'll notice off to the right side on the GoToWebinar panel, there's a section called Questions. If you just expand that out with the little plus sign, you can type in a question, and we'll get back to you at the very end of the webinar. Before I hand it over to Greg, I wanted to give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do here at Diem Technologies. I think a lot of people on the call today are current Diem customers, so you might have some idea, but you know, for those who aren't as familiar, I'll share that as well. So Diem was founded in 1990 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We were one of the very first RightFax partners. In fact, we've been with RightFax since 1993, so we have 20-plus years of experience, not only in the RightFax space, but also in the enterprise fax world too. We are an OpenText Platinum Partner and support provider. There's only 9 of us out there, so what that means is we can provide first-line support. We have a very high level of knowledge with RightFax integration into other systems and enterprise environments. Something unique that Diem also does, being a Platinum Partner, is we offer every other month we do RightFax admin training here at our offices in Dallas. So if you are a Diem customer and you have an active support contract, you can take advantage of that and send you know, yourself or other individuals to our offices to get some RightFax training. We offer both 6x12 and 7x24 contracts. Other solution offerings that are fax related that we're in are advanced document capture, so a product called SiGen SiCapture, as well as Telephony, secure information exchange. OpenText has a new product called SecureIX, which will be coming out here in the next couple months. It's a secure collaborative file and messaging transfer that's really pretty neat, as well as document management projects. So Square9 Smart Search and OpenText Alchemy, we handle those as well. The reason I bring these up is because we have a lot of customers that know us as, you know, the people, the RightFax people, but not a lot of people, even our own customers, sometimes know that we do these other things. So we'd like to make everyone aware. So as I mentioned, we are all things fax. That starts with everything RightFax, which is the enterprise on-premise edition, which most everyone here is familiar with. Small volume, smaller companies, we offer fax appliance solutions, really basic fax needs for people in the cloud. EasyLink, we offer EasyLink services, which is recently purchased by OpenText. And today, a hybrid fax solution, RightFax Connect. We're gonna learn more about that. So now I think I'm going to turn it over to Greg Horton at OpenText. Greg, let me go ahead and make you a presenter here. And we'll let you get started.
Okay, am I displaying now?
Yeah, I can see you now.
Okay, let me get caught back up. All right, does that look right?
Looks good.
All right, thank you, Kent. All right, what I want to do today is talk a little bit about RightFax in the cloud and our hybrid solution. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about cloud solutions in general. You know, all of us use enterprise software in our organizations, and enterprise software has brought a lot of benefits in terms of automating processes and making us more efficient, but there are challenges to implementing enterprise software applications. It is notorious for having long, complex implementation cycles requiring a lot of maintenance. It doesn't even matter what you're talking about implementing, right? It could be ERP, it can even be fax, and it can take a while to get your implementation right. That's why we have partners like Diem who can help you out. But there are frequently challenges in implementation and maintenance of enterprise software. In some cases, enterprise software can have less flexibility. Maybe that's in terms of, oh, you bought 500 seats and you ran out, and you don't have any flexibility to use 501 until you go through the PO process and you buy more seats. And so there's some controls in place that sometimes can reduce flexibility. And finally, if you want to do business continuity, disaster recovery, keep your systems up and running, you may have to buy another license. You may have to buy additional servers, put them in a different location, have different sets of connectivity, and that can add up in terms of cost. So that's why the cloud showed up, right? So that we could have simpler implementations. Now, obviously, there's a trade-off here, and cloud services tend to be less complex, but also then less feature-rich, if you will. They sort of, in my observation, is it's the old 80-20 rule. They do really well the 20% of functionality that just about everybody's going to use. And then there's this long tail of features that enterprise applications typically have that cloud services choose to ignore. One of the great things about cloud services is how fast you can deploy them. Frequently, the software itself is available to you within hours or days, and while you may have some additional work to do some configuration and so forth, it's certainly much faster than a typical enterprise application. In terms of flexibility, we can think of things like capacity. Your provider is dealing with all those things. The same is actually true for business continuity, right? In both of these cases, your provider is having multiple data centers, handling the ability to do failover, providing flexibility when it comes to turning on additional users or reducing your implementation or whatever. So there's some really nice advantages to implementing cloud services. I have a quote here about cloud services from Microsoft and their enterprise group, and so they're really saying that there's some power here in the cloud to help change how businesses operate and compete, and the cloud is a game changer. So let's talk about that in terms of this new application that we're introducing. The product name is called, I should say the service name is called RightFax Connect. It is a cloud service for RightFax implementations that allows you to basically replace all of your physical phone, I'm going to say accessories, right? Whether it's phone lines, whether it's connection to the PBX, it may be a fax board or a fax channel or in software, or it may be gateways. All of those components become unnecessary with RightFax Connect. Instead, you get the flexibility of the cloud to send and receive your faxes without capacity constraints. And so for instance, if you typically send all your faxes in the last couple days of the month, and so maybe you have to size your RightFax implementation in terms of all those phone connections and fax channels and stuff. You have to size all that for your greatest volume. With a cloud service like RightFax Connect, you don't even have to worry about that. And if you have an extra big spike, that doesn't mean you're not going to run out of capacity. It also means you don't get people sending you faxes won't get inbound busy signals. We provide capacity that eliminates that. At the same time, one of the great benefits is this system is sort of an add-on service to RightFax, and so you get to keep sort of the integrations, the desktop applications, the capabilities of RightFax that you have today. All that work that has already gone into implementing RightFax as in your organization, whether it's in a production environment or whether you've just are distributing fax capabilities to every desktop in your organization, all of that gets to remain in place, but you simplify your implementation by moving all of the telephone connections, all of that management into the cloud and into this service. So some of the benefits, right? We reduce the complexity of our implementation, and so the RightFax implementation is more about managing features and configuration than it is dealing with some of the complexities of the telephony integration. RightFax Connect can be deployed very rapidly, and so if you're doing a new deployment, it can shorten your overall RightFax deployment time, but we can get that service up and running for you very quickly. The configuration of RightFax Connect within RightFax is a single screen with 2 fields. Enter your username and password for RightFax Connect, and that's all the configuration you need to do. In terms of flexibility, I talked a lot already about the ability to expand and contract and basically give you volume flexibility. And then on the business continuity side, I'll talk a little later about the number of data centers we have, but we have global presence, multiple data centers with failover support for the telephony portion of the communications. So actually, now I've done this presentation twice, and I've done the same thing twice, which is I've already explained all of these circles, and now I have slides for them. So repeat very shortly. Reduce complexity. One of the things that RightFax Connect does that I failed to mention is it leverages our EasyLink telephone network, and that gives us access to all of the countries, all of the phone numbers, all of the provisioning capabilities that exist in the pure cloud service that is EasyLink. And so one of the things that we maintain in that service is a set of fax numbers, a pool, if you will, of fax numbers, and you can reserve sets of the pool and through the administrative user interface. But you can actually add a fax number to your service at any time, and if you pull it from the pool, it can be active in just a few hours and ready to receive. Turns out that you don't need fax numbers to send in this model. So if you do a lot of sending, and today you have a lot of channels and a lot of phone lines, you can actually eliminate all of that. You don't even need to pay for a bunch of phone numbers. Talked about flexibility already, so I'm going to keep moving. I talked about deployment earlier and business continuity. We'll talk a little bit more about business continuity in the context of our global data centers in a moment. So RightFax Connect really is the only cloud solution for RightFax. It's the only one that we support. It gives you the things that you would expect from cloud-based delivery, and I'm going to talk about each of these in more detail, so I won't get ahead of myself this time. So one of the things that it allows you to do with RightFax Connect allows you to do is save some money because you can eliminate some of the expenses for telephone lines. We do have a charge. I believe our charge for phone numbers is $1 per month. You can eliminate fax boards and gateways. We can help you reduce your long-distance charges because we can route within our global network to deliver faxes from the cheapest location. You don't need maintenance contracts on your fax boards and gateways that you gave up or on the channels that you no longer are using. You can run this just with the RightFax server. It also saves time because we have heard feedback that one of the most difficult parts of RightFax and maintaining it is the connectivity to the telephone network. We get probably more calls in our support center on those kind of things than anything else. And so you can really save some time for your IT by just offloading all of that, reducing that burden on your IT staff. Now, one of the things that will almost always come up when we start talking about communicating over the internet, is security. People want to make sure that, one of the benefits of using fax in the first place is it's a point-to-point connection, and so you don't need a lot of encryption, and now all of a sudden we're going to go over the internet. So what we do is we support several secure communication protocols between your server and our server, and then of course our servers will route internally, and then they will dial a phone number. And so RightFax Connect doesn't eliminate the fact that some people will have fax machines and phone numbers need to be dialed, but we do provide security during the time that your data is being transmitted over the internet, which is from your servers to ours or ours to yours. We have annual examinations of our data centers, and we have an independent audit firm audit us every year according to SOC 2 standards. And so we work very hard at making sure that our data centers are secure, both in sort of the communication protocols we're using, but also in our procedures and our physical locations. Another advantage of using RightFax with RightFax Connect is one about control over your data. Now, we use the term data sovereignty to talk about this. Data sovereignty, and I'm going to read this for you, that is really the concept that enterprise information is subject to the laws in the country where basically the servers physically resides, right? And so those laws may define who has access to and even ownership of that information. So you think about things like some people in some countries get concerned because of the Patriot Act, which allows the U.S. government to say if we suspect that your data contains something about a terrorist, we can access it, and you have to give us access to it. And so people in other countries may say that if they're not even faxing to the U.S., but the servers in the cloud are in the U.S., their data could be accessed. And so that's how the law works. And so in the case where you're using RightFax and RightFax Connect, the data sovereignty, the country where the data resides, is wherever you put your servers. And so you have control over that. You can choose the location of your servers, and we have tweaked the EasyLink Cloud a little bit so that when we have confirmation that a fax has been delivered to RightFax via RightFax Connect, we immediately delete the content from our server. So we don't hold your data for any period of time, and that protects privacy as well. The final advantage here is really that you're keeping the rich capabilities of RightFax, including the integrations that are available with email systems like Exchange and Notes, with ERP systems like SAP and Oracle, with content management systems like eDocs and FileNet and SharePoint, all the integrations we have with the MFP devices, those all continue to be available to you. You're just communicating in the cloud. So production faxing capabilities remain, the desktop faxing, availability of FaxUtil as well as WebUtil remains, and then we continue to have all of the sort of the security, the audit trail, the control that you have with standard RightFax when you add the RightFax Connect service. So how does it work? This is just a quick little overview. I'm going to pretend we're going to send and then we're going to receive, right? So starting on the left-hand side of the picture, we've got email or a desktop user or someone on an MFP. It could be an application, but they're sending a fax, right? So the next picture is the server. RightFax is running on it, and so it receives that request to send, but instead of talking to a phone system within your network, it talks through the firewall and connects to our cloud service. It communicates that securely using whatever security protocol that you've chosen of the several that we support, and it will transmit that fax plus all the addressing information to the cloud, and then we will route to the appropriate location and then dial a number. And so we will dial the number that you want to receive your fax. It has standard retries and that sort of thing, but we will deliver that fax over standard phone lines. Now, if you have a number and it's in RightFax Connect, either you've ported your numbers into RightFax Connect or you've created new ones, someone dials that number, it connects to our cloud. Our cloud service receives that fax and then contacts your RightFax server, delivers that fax plus whatever metadata it collected from that communication, and then RightFax can deliver those faxes either into the user's inbox, to an application, or print it to an MFP. So that's forward and back. So I mentioned global presence earlier. Each yellow pin represents either a data center, a co-location, or a point of presence. We have multiple data centers that we own around the world, as well as co-locations where we've put data centers in somebody else's larger data center. And then the points of presence are really where we have connectivity to phone systems. And so these are where we can route to one of these points of presence to dial a number and increase the efficiency of the communication and the connectivity. Sorry about that. And then finally, this map shows inbound number availability. We have somewhere between 40 and 50 countries where you can get local inbound numbers. And like I said before, you can send faxes using Connect out of RightFax without having any numbers whatsoever. You may want to have at least a number for reply, and that can be put on your fax as it's sent. But about 40 to 50 countries in which local inbound numbers are available. Okay, so what do you need? Let's say you may already have RightFax. You need RightFax 10.5 with Feature Pack 1, and actually we just came out with a Service Pack 3 that optimizes a little bit of the communication between RightFax and the Connect service. So I would recommend not just Feature Pack 1, but also Service Pack 3. You need a RightFax Connect service plan, which is your commitment to how much traffic you tend to put through Connect, and it's a volume-based plan, and so the more volume you expect to put through it, there are different levels in the plan for costs. Then you need to be on a support plan. So we won't support you if you want to use RightFax Connect and you want to use 10.5, but you don't want to pay maintenance. That doesn't work for us. And so you need to be on a support plan so we can support your whole implementation. And preferably an HTTPS capable internet connection, but you may use one of those other security protocols I mentioned earlier. What you don't need is you don't need fax channels, and you don't need support for those channels. So many organizations will be able to give up their fax channels or some number of those fax channels and also give up the support that they're paying on those. You also don't need phone lines. So this is particularly valuable if you're moving to voice over IP, you want to get rid of phone lines completely. If you're just getting to that and you didn't know how you were going to support faxing over voice over IP, of course we can do that with RightFax and digital channel and a media gateway, but you can also just eliminate all those phone lines by using your internet connection and RightFax Connect. And so I think this is my last presentation slide, and basically it's just a reminder that we have multiple deployment options for RightFax. Of course, we have the traditional on-premise fax server that RightFax has been for 25 years with over 100,000 servers installed. And in that situation, you manage your own server, you manage RightFax, you manage your own telephony infrastructure, and you use your own infrastructure, and you have 100% control. If you move to the hybrid model, which is what we've been talking about, then you still manage your own servers. You still have the RightFax server itself, SQL server running on it, but you remove all of the complexity of the telephony management, and of course you get this extra scalability without effort, and so that really provides some convenience. Like I said before, because if you do the on-premise version, you have to size your implementation for your greatest volumes. And finally, we do have something called RightFax On Demand. It is a hosted managed service where you pay us to not only host your RightFax implementation, but to maintain it and manage it. And so that includes some extra fees that are around the people that are required to help manage that implementation. Okay, and with that, we have an opportunity for people to ask questions. You can type them into the chat window, and we will try to answer those. And I'm just going to, in the meantime, I'm going to put up this slide that gives information about how you can connect with Diem if you have any questions, or if you want more information about Connect. Kent, I'll let you moderate the questions, and if you want to say anything more about the contact information.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Greg. Yeah, so this is our contact information, obviously. You'll notice to the left side we have a screenshot of our website. It's recently redesigned, so if you haven't been to Diem's website in a while, check it out. We have information on not only RightFax Connect, but all the other fax products we offer, and some of the other products we offer that work with RightFax. We do have one question I've noticed here. We have a question that says, if we are on an older version of RightFax, could we move to a virtual server, no fax board, upgrade our RightFax, and then use this service?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and in fact, if you're looking to do that, definitely get in touch with either your Diem account manager directly, or if you're new to the organization, feel free to call us directly or drop us an email at sales@diem.com, and we can walk you through that process. That's the only question I see at the moment. Anyone else that has a question, I'll leave this open for just a moment or two, so we can, hopefully answer that for you. Worst case, you can always drop us an email, contact your account manager, check out our website. A couple other things I'll mention about the website. We've been doing a lot of blog posts. We're adding more and more technical blog posts as well, which we also tweet out, and our handle on Twitter is @DiemTech. So if you use that as part of your daily life, feel free to add us and follow us on there. We try to bring some information that's hopefully helpful to your current RightFax install, and maybe some other technical thoughts or other products that might also help on some projects that you have coming up.
Kent, I thought I would bring up a question we frequently get that I know I didn't cover.
Okay.
And that is fax number porting. If you already have fax numbers, let's say you already have the person that said they were on an older version and needed to migrate, one of the things you will likely eventually do is migrate your phone numbers. This can be the longest part of the implementation. Getting your account set up and ready to run and doing all your outbound faxing can happen almost immediately. But of course, in the U.S., there is laws governing porting, and one of the laws is that vendors have a certain amount of time to do that port. And so, especially with businesses where you may be porting 10 or 20 or 100 numbers, that process can take 30 to 45 days sometimes. And so you have to file the appropriate paperwork to transfer your phone numbers to our service, and then basically you'll want to maintain your channels, have those running while you're doing the phone number porting, and then one day all of a sudden those numbers will stop coming in through those channels, but they will suddenly start coming in through Connect. And that's the day that your phone company decides that they're going to finalize the port. And the control of that is really with your current phone vendor. We don't have a lot of control over when that happens. But you can port your numbers to us and make that transition.
Yeah, great point. I know there was a lot of questions on that yesterday, so good to know. I think that's it on questions. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact your Diem account manager. Oh, we got one more here. After the port, if we found that we wanted international locations to be added, can we get local numbers for the international locations?
Yes, absolutely. And you can pull those right from our pool. And so when we say we have 40 or 50 countries, we have, I won't promise that we have pools in every country, but in the major countries we'll have pools of numbers already reserved. And so just like when you go to a phone company and say I need a number and they pull one out of their pool, we will do the same thing. And so you will be able to actually turn on a number in a matter of hours.
Okay, I'll wait a sec to see if there's any follow-up to that. Yeah, again, contact us by email, by phone, check out the website, and we'd be more than happy to give you more information on RightFax Connect, and hopefully help you decide if that's something that'll work well for your organization. Appreciate the time today, Greg. Thank you so much, and thanks everyone for taking the time to attend, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.